throwing everything that you love about the business out there. You're finding out what they're going to love, and then you can tell them about that.
Excuse me, that's more important than your show.
Okay, awesome. So, Amy, you have done some recruiting, right? You there, Amy? Oh, sorry, no problem. Okay, and Hannah, what are your thoughts on recruiting?
I want to do more of it. I have a hard time with it, but it's definitely something I want to grow in. It's one of my goals.
Awesome. Okay, very cool. Do you have a thought, Amy? Are you available? I'll unmute you. Hang on. All right, go ahead.
Oh, I have to be, because I called in, because my microphone on my computer is messed up, so I can't use that.
No
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
What are your thoughts on recruiting, and what do you want to see happen with your business?
Well, obviously, add more recruits, always, at least 3 a month. And I go in spurts. Like sometimes I'll get 3, and sometimes I don't get any, or 1 or 4. And it's like so random that I'd like it to be more consistent.
Very cool. That's understandable. Totally understandable. Because that way, when you have someone fall off, someone can fill in. Like, you can take 3 steps forward and 1 step back versus 3 steps forward, then 2 steps back, and 1 step back, and okay, 3 steps forward, you know. So yeah, the more consistent you be, because you will always lose people to just life, to, oh, I decided this wasn't it, to kidnappers, all those kind of things. But then some are going to want to build a business too. So you're always going to have a variety of people. All right. So while we wait for just a few more people, if you want to enter the drawing, I actually have something totally different tonight. I gotta find it. So this little thing is called a Create Success. This is for new team members. Some of you have been on some of my calls or my trainings. One of the things I believe in starting with your new recruits is always with goal setting. And I have a method for goal setting that helps them go from, I don't know what I want, to being able to, after a couple of weeks, finally know what they want in their business. And then there are trackers to help them create the habits they need to have to help them become successful in their business. And then there's ways to help them formulate their questions. Some of you have been on some of my calls about sales and how I believe in asking questions, and we teach them how to create their own questions. It's good for you to add a sheet in here of the questions based on your business. Obviously, not everybody wants makeup, not everybody wants Pampered Chef, so I don't put them in for you. And then there's how to share with your friends and family so they don't burn bridges or offend anyone. And then there's hostess coaching. What we're going to actually do is take this and put it online, and you'll have what's called a licensing agreement where you can email them or print them off for your team members only. And so it's a $30 value, and we're going to give one of these away and add you to the names from the first group that was earlier today. So this is going to be a new item on our website that's going to be, and it's also a great tool to use even for current team members, whether they're moving forward or they're dead, because I still go through all this material when people sign up with my trainings. So you're going to love this to be able to help your team members to move forward. Okay. So the way you entered that drawing is you go to Facebook, you say you're hanging with me. Pretty sure we're all friends. If I'm not, add me as a friend. And tag me and put create PR number 8 success. And you can either tag, if you do the @ creative success systems, that will tag my Facebook page, or tag me, just Michelle Hess Withers. Tell them you're hanging out with me and that we're talking about recruiting. All right, I have someone from California who just joined us. Oh, that's your mom. You can't get enough of me.
Hi, is Elizabeth on?
Yep, she is. Can you see her? All right. Okay, so you know what to do. Go to Facebook, tag them, tell them we're talking about Facebook. Then you need to go down to the chat down here at the bottom and tell me you did it, because sometimes I go to Facebook and it doesn't show me all your posts sometimes. So sometimes I miss a couple of people that need to be put in the drawing, and I feel really bad when I do that. Amy's done it. Okay. It doesn't say queen anymore. That was more fun, Amy. Oh, yeah.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
That was hysterical. You kept laughing. All right. That's so, but that's so like a Lindsay's team thing. Like, surprised she didn't that title. Everybody else is a princess, but she's the queen. She's so hysterical. All right. So let's talk about recruiting. Who's excited? Okay. So one of the things to do with recruiting that I'm just a big believer in is that we've got to make this a conversation, okay? It's really important that this is something where it's back and forth, and I am a big believer in they need to do more talking than we do, okay? That they need to tell us what they want out of their life, and then we can tell them if any of the things that we have are things that would match what they're needing in their life, okay? And so many times you'll see it modeled or you'll be trained. Sit down, tell them about your why, tell them about the company and what you love about it, and then from there, you know, you see if they have any questions and if they want to sign up. It's so much more, often it's so much more about you doing the talking and them doing the listening, and hopefully they're on board. Well, I do it the opposite. I'm more about asking them lots of questions and then talk about what parts of the company are going to fill their needs, okay? So I totally flip-flop it, and it's just the way I feel good about it, and it makes me feel really authentic. Anyone not want to feel like a salesperson? Yeah? Okay. Hi, Misty. Can you hear me? Yes, yay. So you got the login. Okay, awesome. All right. So welcome, Misty. You're with Unique, right? Am I remembering correct? Pretty sure she is. Do you know Misty, Amy?
Misty, no.
Okay, I'm mixing you up. Just tell me which company you're with, Misty. Then I make sure I give examples based on your company. Or maybe you were, oh, what did I say? You said Unique. What company did I say? I meant Unique. I don't know what I said. I'm so sorry.
You said Unique.
I said Unique?
But, yeah.
That's okay. She just misheard me. No biggie. Okay. So with recruiting, the whole key to this is that they do more of the talking so that you can fill their needs. And it's so fun after you've done one of these interviews and you see how it goes and how authentic you feel. You will not want to go back to doing it any other way. Would you agree, Elizabeth? It's pretty fun, huh? It's way awesome. And not only has she recruited more, what's really awesome about it is she's found people who actually want to build businesses and not just kidnappers, okay? So it's pretty exciting to see how far she's come in the last couple months. It's way cool. All right, so let's start talking about this. This can be done, I'm going to teach you how to do an interview. This can be done face-to-face or on the phone. You've done it quite frequently on the phone, right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I've only done it on the phone.
Yep. So sometimes I think we have to sit down with them face-to-face, but you don't have to. But you could also do Skype or something like the Zoom. That would work too, okay? So I'm going to teach you, one of the things you want to do is have a piece of paper that has their name, the date and time, their contact information, and then what you want is when are you going to follow up? Like if they don't immediately say yes, when will you follow up with them? And what is the next call to action? Maybe they go home and watch a video. Maybe they go home and get on the website. Maybe there's some YouTube videos you want her to watch. But there's always the next call to action if they're not ready that night. so that we keep the ball rolling and keep them excited. Okay, so I'm going to train you on a thing called motivational styles, and we're going to talk about that. And then there's an interview that connects those motivational styles and helps to teach you how to use it so you can be really, really effective when you're talking to people. Okay? So this is from a book called Get Motivated, and it's by Tamara Lowe, Lowe. And you're going to see yourself and you're going to see other people in this, and you're going to see why it's so important that you reveal their motivational styles. So I kind of compare recruiting to trying to catch fish with a net. Okay? If you have a net with great big holes, some are going to slip through, right? And when we only talk about our story and hope everybody relates to it, our holes are really big. If we ask lots of really good questions, it shrinks the holes, okay? And what happens is when we shrink the holes is we understand other people's motivational styles, you're going to recruit more people. The goal is that you relate to other people better than anybody else. My goal in network marketing is that you're seen as the nicest, most helpful, caring people there are out there, and people would prefer to shop with you than anyone else on earth. Okay? So that's what we're trying to do, is to help you become those kind of people that just people love working with. Okay, so the first motivational style that you need to know about is, are people more change the world, or are they more money and titles driven? Okay, so I want you to think about that for yourself. And before you put a judgment like one is good and one is bad, the Mother Teresa's who are truly change the world people need the Bill Gates who earn lots of money and donate to their causes. So both are needed, both are important. It's not like one's worldly and one's more down to earth, or, you know, there's no like judgment here. They're both really important, because some people who make a lot of money are fantastic philanthropists and are great leaders and get a lot of things done. And some people who are change the world just are very good at connecting with people, and they have a different role in our world. We need both. So think about which one you are, okay? Now, whose here has ever been to a national convention for their company? Who's been to a national convention? A couple of you have. Okay, you go. Amy, what happens when you go? What is it like? What's the energy? What do they do there?
They get you all fired up.
And
Get all fired up about everything, like the mission, the vision, the products, because normally they show you the new product launch. You take classes on sales and recruiting and whatever, and then the girl time, the bonding with your teammates too, that's priceless. So yeah.
Very cool. What about the awards and the accolades and stuff?
Yeah, you get to see all that, and then you're like, I want to be up there. Next year I'm going to be up there.
Right. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to bet, is it correct you're more change the world than money and titles?
Say that again.
Are you more money and titles than change the world? Yeah. And
yeah.
I know that because of what you talked about first. This is the thing. When people go to convention and they see the money and titles and they try to stay motivated by that, and then they come home, they're like, oh, I'm going to get this title, I'm going to get this title, and they start kind of feeling uncomfortable in their own skin. The reason why that happens is because when you're money and when you're change the world and you're trying to be money and titles, you just don't feel true to yourself. Okay? Does that kind of make sense?
Or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's so important that you're setting your goals based on what motivates you. Now, when you're doing the interview with the person, if you start talking about all the money and titles you can make, and they're like, I just want to help them feel better about themselves because they look pretty on the outside, or they're cooking more at home, or whatever it is, Or someone who's like, oh, you get to change people's lives and you make them feel pretty. And then they're like, okay, but do you make any money at this? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you need to know where they're coming from so that then you can better tell them about the part of the business that that they connect to. Okay? It's not a lie, and it's not a, I mean, both things are doable, right? You get both things. Like, okay, if you think about this for a minute, just for an example, it's not a good or bad example. It's just, but like It Works has these really big, they do these big money promotions, these big, what's the word? Awards and anyway, what's the word?
Incentives?
Incentives, but they're just big cash incentives. And it's like, you got to know that a big chunk of those are probably money and title driven people, which is fine. That grows a business. So think about this for a minute. If you are the change the world person, but you really do want to grow your business, you want to be able to attract a few people who are money and titles driven. Okay? Even if you're not, you got to find those to help build your business. So you don't want to chase those away who have the opposite motivation of you, because the more you can get, the more you're going to have. Now, I can take the person who's driven by changing the world and the person who's driven by money and titles. I can get them both to the same level. But one person I'm going to talk about, oh, look at all the people you're helping. What's the goal of how many people you're going to help? Okay, that's going to get you to this level. What are you going to do with that money? Or you're going to spend it on your kids, and you're going to get out of debt, and you're going to help your parents. And we talk about all of what they can do with the money. This other person, what's it going to feel like to be at that title? What's it going to feel like to have that accomplishment? What is it going to feel like to know that you did it? What's it going to feel like to have that much money in your bank account? It's what you talk about. And so when you've recruited and then you're trying to support them, it's so important you're talking their language. So let me give you a quick example. I had a gal I was talking to. She actually was an author. She wanted to work with me because I helped get consistency in habits, and she was self-publishing, so she was going to need to know how to market. So those were the reasons she was working with me. Well, was thinking about working with me at the time. So we were messaging back and forth, and she's like, okay, let me think about it. And she did, and she sent me texts, and she says, well, okay, before that we were chatting. She goes, this is the thing, Michelle, I've got to tell you something about myself. And I said, okay. She says, I am terrified of success. Now, I know about fear of failure and fear of success. I've studied about it. And I thought, wow, that's pretty self-aware, because not everybody realizes they're afraid of success. Like some of you might, if you stop and think about it, how would people treat me different if I had money? Or how would people treat me differently if I had a big title? Or how would, that kind of can chase some people off, and it makes them worried, okay? So that's kind of the fear of success. Like you hear Oprah talking about it. You hear who your real friends are when you're successful, okay? Well, so I asked her, what does it mean to you to be terrified of success? She says, well, I'm not really motivated by money. She's like, I want to be comfortable, but having money isn't my big motivator. She says, and the other thing is, if this book takes off and I have to be interviewed in that, I'm a little uncomfortable with, that fame and that kind of thing. That's not why I want to do this. I said, okay, so why do you want to write this book? And it was for youth. She goes, I just want to change teens' lives. I just want them to have more positive stuff. I just want to be able to help them. And I just want to be able to change teens' lives. And I said, okay. I said, well, then let's be sure and focus on that. So she says, okay, let me think about it and get back to you. So she sends me a text and she says, okay, I'm on board. I want to work with you. And I text her back and I said, that is awesome. You are going to inspire so many teens. She texted me right back. She said, oh my goodness, I am so glad you said that. She says, because as soon as I hit send, I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? She says, and as soon as you brought me back to my why, the reason I'm doing this is because I was going to help teens, then I was okay again. Okay, if I had texted her back and said, oh my gosh, you're going to be so famous and rich, bam, I would have lost her. Okay, so it's really important to understand who people are and where they're coming from. You can motivate both types. We need both types. But you got to understand that when you don't talk their language, those holes in your recruiting net get bigger and you lose people. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's take a quick poll. Who here is more driven by money and titles? Who's driven more by money and titles? Anybody on the phone? Oh, all of three of you are. Cool. Okay, a little bit for Sue. How about Joyce or Sharon or you're driven by both? Okay. Oops, what did I just do here? I just lost somebody. Okay, give me 2 seconds here. I just pushed a button I don't normally push. Hang on a second. It's always fun. Okay, if you're on the phone, you can kind of tell me. I gotta find this thing. What did I do here? Okay, so I'll go on to the next one while I'm trying to find this. So the next thing is, are you more motivated by money, or sorry, are you more motivated by working in a group, or are you more motivated by working independently? And the fun thing about this, when you realize, like, if you really think about it, are you someone who loves to have all the kids come in the kitchen, they each have an assignment, and you make this dinner together, or are you more that, you know what, just go out, let me get it done, I'll let you know when it's finished, okay? So when you understand those things, you really can do a lot of things different and set your goals based on those motivations, okay? So think about that for a minute. Are you more motivated by groups and by people, or are you more motivated by money or by working independently? Okay, so think about that for a minute. Which one are you? So Amy says she's independent. Elizabeth, okay, if you're independent, raise your hand. Okay. All right. Who's more in a group? Loves to work in a group. Cheryl, okay. All right. So it's really interesting when you know that about yourself, the different things that you're able to do, okay? Now the last one is, are you more motivated by consistency or variety? So some people love variety, love to change things up, love to have it different. Other people are more motivated by nice, easy, the same. They have a schedule every day, they follow that, and that's what makes them comfortable. And if you think about this for a minute, think about the last time you were working with somebody. If you're a variety person and you're trying to work with someone who's consistency and they just didn't want to budge on their schedule or meeting time or whatever it was, and you're like, oh my gosh, can't they just get more flexible? And then those of you who are consistency, are like, oh my gosh, why can't that person just get more consistent and have more of a schedule? Okay, you kind of drive each other crazy a little bit. But when you can learn that about the other person, you can just bring out the best in them and maximize that part of them instead of being irritated with it, okay? So who here is more consistency? Who's more consistency? Okay, and who likes the variety? Yeah, I'm variety. That's why I do what I do. People ask me why I'm not still in network marketing. It's because after I learned a couple things, I would figure a company out, then I would get bored. And I just love variety. So one day I get to talk about cooking, next day I get to talk about mascara, the next day I get to talk about these wraps, okay? There's always something different going on that's a lot of fun. Okay, the very last thing that you kind of need to know about people, who's ever read the book, The 5 Love Languages? Anyone ever read that book? Okay, just Elizabeth. The fun thing about this book is there's 5 love languages, and if you think about this for a minute, it really reveals a lot about yourself and your spouse and those that you love, you know, kids and people you work with. So the first one is acts of service, and then there's quality time, words of affirmation, gifts, and words of affirmation, quality time. What's the 5th one, Elizabeth? Okay, acts of service, words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, physical touch. Right? Physical touch?
Yeah.
So everyone is different. Everyone has one that's their highest one. And so at my house, this gets me in trouble because I am words of affirmation. Just say something nice and I'm good to go. My husband, on the other hand, he is quality time, which means, let me give you a funny example. This one Sunday, I got the kids all quiet and they were doing their own thing, and I put on his favorite, his football team was on, and gave him some snacks. I'm like, I just need a little moment. I need to go for a walk. I'll be back in a little bit. I homeschool, so I just don't get a break sometimes. So off I went on my little walk. I come back, the TV's off. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, you didn't stay here and watch it with me. Okay, that's major quality time. Okay, so that kind of helps you understand where they're coming from. My daughter is gifts. She wants something that can be put in a box and she can unwrap and she can hold it and she can put it on her desk and she can see it and be reminded that she was loved because she got this thing. That's my lowest. Oh, that gets me in trouble because I just want to be able to say something nice, and she wants something she can hold and touch and put in her hand. Okay, so that's kind of the funny thing about that one, and helps you kind of understand other people a little bit better. And so when you can kind of get an idea, and there's kind of a fun question that sort of might reveal what's most important to them, but when you know that they're gifts, when they're a gifts person, then you can talk about all the cool things the company gives you when you work really hard and really smart, right? When you know their words of affirmation, you can talk about when the company celebrates you and puts you in the newsletter and, talks about you on Facebook and the recognition you get. When they're quality time, you have to spend just a little bit of time together, and you talk about your unit meetings and the way that you connect with people. You see what I'm saying? So you talk about the parts that are important to them. Okay, any questions thus far about love languages or motivational styles? Are you what aha moments did you have about yourself or a family member or even a team member? Like, what did you see differently? Any aha moments or things that kind of clicked? How about you, Amy? Anything that made you like, no? No? How about Michelle or Hannah?
Am I on? Can you hear
Yep.
me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I actually thought I was more motivated by a group, but once you said that, I guess I am more independently. So
Okay.
I would think so far I learned about myself.
Cool. Very cool. Anybody else? Anything for you, Sue? Oh, you're muted, hun. Try again.
I said I missed the first 20 minutes. I'm going to catch up tomorrow, so no.
Okay. All right. No problem.
You weren't working. It wasn't working.
There you go. Anybody that's on the phone? Okay. All right. Let's go on to the questions then. All right. Okay. So these are the questions you're going to ask, and it's really going to help you to get an idea of what you need to do to really connect to people and be able to recruit more people. So I'm a big believer in somebody needs to love the product to be able to, let me see here. When you love the product, okay, I think you become a much better salesperson for that thing. If you're just doing it for the money, whether you love the product or not, I just don't think that you either stay with it or you're as passionate about it. So some people lead with the business opportunity. I usually like to get them excited about the product and then go with the business opportunity after that. So that's just my way of doing it. Some of you, they sign up and they go right from, well, I don't know if any of your companies do that, but sometimes you can kind of go from getting a discount to instantly being able to sell without having to buy a kit and having a commitment. So all of them are kind of different, all right? Okay, so the first thing is asking them their thoughts and their feelings on the product, what they like and what they love about it. So that's the first place you want to start. Then you want to ask them, who have you been thinking about that you've thought would love this product? What that does is it gives you an idea if they would have somebody to invite to their starter party, somebody to start selling to, or if they don't become a recruit and they say yes to that, it would be somebody that then they would have the opportunity to host a party if they want to step back a level to getting perks from the business, okay? So we want to know, you've been using this product, who have you thought about who might like this? So the next question is, and it's really important to listen to the answer on this. So I want you to think about this for a minute and answer it yourself. If I was to ask you, do you know exactly what you would do if you earned another $500 or $1,000 in a month? Do you know exactly what you would put that money to? Or is it, well, it's just kind of a bank account, I'm not really sure, I don't know, it'd be fun, but I don't know. So who of you know exactly what you do? If you had an extra $500 to $1,000 next month, who knows where it would go exactly? Okay, so I would guess that makes you a little more money in titles because you know exactly where to go. I find a lot of people who don't know where it will go, they're just not driven by money, but they're probably driven more by changing the world. Okay, now not 100% consistent. Now, if you meet someone and they really need this opportunity, but they're really on survival mode right now, meaning their money is just extremely, extremely tight. You know, some people are really having economic hardships right now. You need to sometimes start with a smaller number than 500 to 1,000 because sometimes they just do not believe at all that the idea of having an extra money, let alone that much, is anywhere close to possible. So sometimes you have to make the number a little bit smaller so they actually will have a conversation about it. So for some of you, some situations you might say 250 to 500 instead of 500 to 1,000. Okay, so you just kind of have to fill people out and kind of get an idea where they're at. But based on what they tell you, that kind of gives you an idea also what motivates them. If it's, you know, do stuff with my kids or go on a family vacation or donate to a charity, or you can kind of hear, you know, oh, I just would love to have more money. We just feel more, you know, I'd feel more freedom and like we were more responsible. Probably money and titles, whereas the other ones that change the world. Okay? All right. So you can ask people what I call the positive question. A lot of times you ask people a positive question, they'll instantly go down the road of a negative question. Things like, tell me a little bit about what you love about cooking from home and having family dinners. Okay? So they might tell you and they might say, oh, but it's so time consuming and I'm so tired at night and I never know what to cook, and they may just kind of go down that road instantly. You could ask somebody, hey, what do you love about your current makeup routine? What do you love about, or what facial features do you like to highlight? And, oh, well, I like this, but, oh, I wish I didn't have this and this and this and this, and pick themselves to death, okay? Now, if they don't bring something up about, so what you do is ask them, what's the best part of your life? What's going really well right now? What do you just love about your life? You might talk about their kids, or might talk about where they live, or I don't know, the phase in their life, whatever it might be. But then they're very likely to kind of go down, oh, this is stressful and this is hard and this is something that we're having to deal with. So if they don't bring up a negative, or basically we're looking for needs, what you want to do is say, if you had one thing that was a little bit different or we could change in your life, what would be that one thing you'd like to improve on? Okay? You want to make it as small and minimize it as much as you can so that it doesn't sound like you're assuming that they have a lot of problems, okay? Because that just doesn't ever go over very well with people. They don't want you to assume that at all. Does that make sense? Okay? All right. So then a couple of things I need to tell you. There's a couple more questions, but before we go there, I want you to look down here at the bottom, or page 3. There are 3 blanks, and it says, because of what you've said, or because of what you've talked about, what we want to do is fill in those 3 blanks before we ever start talking about the company. So what you're going to do is when they answer a question and it kind of reveals a need about how your company could fit that, you want to just say, oh, I'm so glad you told me that. Let me ask you another quick question. Now you want to keep these notes in front of you. You want to be taking notes. Do not expect to be able to figure this all out and remember them all on your own, especially at the beginning. Okay? Ask questions, take notes, keep these in front of you. You'll have a much more successful time. There's nothing wrong with taking notes and having a cheat sheet in front of you, especially if you're on the phone. They don't even see you. Okay? So let's just know you're filling these in as we go with the different needs that they say. All right? The other thing that's important is you need to find 3 needs. So that's why you're going to say, okay, that's awesome. Let me ask you another quick question. When we find 3 needs versus 1, the closing rate goes up to about 90%. When we only find 1 need and jump on that and get all excited, it's kind of like a piece of wood when we hammer a nail into it. It can just spin and spin and spin, and you don't have much control over it. But you nail in another nail, it can't move. You nail in a third, and it's done, right? It can't move. You got it down. So that could be 3 different places they need money. It could be, I used to be able to find out, do they have some need for money? Are they in love with the product? And is there some personal growth or connected relationship or something emotionally that they would get from this that would help them change their lives and change who they are personally? Some people just, they've changed diaper 5,000 and they are fried and they just need that girl night out. For other people, they haven't had any recognition in their job or maybe in their marriage or with their spouse, and they need something or somebody notices them. Other people just, I want to say I did something and started my own business and did something hard. Everybody has kind of a different emotional place, but you find 3 things out and it's a done deal. Okay? So let's go back to the questions real quick. Let's see here. One of the things I like to ask is, what's been your absolute favorite job in the past and why? So if somebody goes in, oh, I love this job, I made so much money, blah, 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 and they talk about the money and the recognition, what are they probably? Money and titles, right? They say, oh, I love that I got to help little Susie and Freddie, and I was with these kids, and it was so fun, and, love talking to them. And it's all about how they helped people, and they don't talk about the income. Probably changed the world, okay? So understanding those things makes this huge difference to be able to really, really help people, and you want to hear these answers. You can ask people, if you had one habit you were a little more consistent in, how would that change your life, or what would that habit be you changed or, got better at? When working at a big job, do you like to bring everybody together and work in a group, or do you like to delegate it and everybody has their assignment and come back? That's going to tell you if they like to work in groups or work independently, right? Okay. Let's see. I like to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like change? Okay. That's going to be a big red flag for variety versus consistency. I love new Monday mornings. It's like starting a new week. I love starts of the month. I don't mind moving, except the packing stuff is stressful. All those things, okay? Change is fun in my world. For other people, they will do everything they can to avoid change, right? Would you agree? It's not something that everybody likes to do. Okay. Another question. You can definitely ask people what they love about their current job, what's the hardest part about their job, how long do they see themselves staying with this job. You can definitely ask them about what they're doing now. Which do you prefer more, having a very consistent daily routine, or do you like to change things up? And what has been the nicest gift anyone's ever given you, or what's the nicest gift you've ever given? And if you listen, you'll kind of hear that which is their love language. Oh, somebody wrote me the nicest note and totally thought about me and da-da-da. Somebody else, oh, they bought me a car, very money and titles, okay? So you've got to really listen. Now, what you're going to do, if you see down here, there's all these little boxes. And you can check off the boxes so that then as you're going about your company, what you're going to do is repeat back to them, because you said you'd like to earn an extra $300 a month, and because you said that, gosh, you would love to just have some time out by yourself in the evening, you know, once or twice a week. And because you said that, you know, you'd love to finally be recognized for your hard work, I really think this would be a great fit because, and you tell them those 3 whys. Our company offers this, our company gives recognition, our company gives you a chance to get out, you make some extra money. You tell them those whys that fit their needs. Not all of them, and not your story. You can end with, you know, this is how it's benefited my life and why I'm so glad, and, you know, it's done the same thing for me that would for you. All those things you can fit in there. Okay? Alrighty. Okay. So let's see here. Is there any questions up to this point on that? Which is your favorite question that you feel like is going to reveal the most about the people that you're talking to? What's a question that's been working for you, Elizabeth?
I like the money or titles or change the world. That's the biggest one to me, because from there I can tailor the rest of everything that I talk about to them, and how I can change everything. Yes, hi Dad, sorry, my father. I can change everything to how it's going to benefit them because of their style.
Right, exactly. All right, what other questions or connections for you? Which one do you see being most beneficial? You guys are so quiet tonight. Come on. Don't make me do all the talking. Come on, what did you think? You can tell me you hate the questions if you want. What did you think of them?
Mine would be how they feel about the company. Say about Unique. What do you like about, not the company, but the products, if they like it or not.
All right, perfect. All right, what else? Any other thoughts? What are your...
I think the one about...
Go ahead.
Okay, I think the one about what was your favorite job you ever had tells a lot about them too.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Amy, you've done a lot of recruiting. What would you do different? Anything? Oh, hang on, you're muted for some reason. Is your phone muted by chance?
Me?
Hi.
There we go.
There I am. What would I do differently about recruiting? Would probably have to be making sure they get on a really good solid start. Like finding out, are you wanting to build a business, or is this just something that you want to get a discount on your product type of thing?
Mm-hmm. Were there any of these questions that you feel like would help reveal that and get down to what they want most?
Well, you know, getting them to dream a little about if you had this X amount of extra money each month, you know, what would that do for you and your family? Oh, I just put it in savings, and they're probably somebody that maybe just wants the discount on their products, you know.
Okay.
But if it would be like, oh my gosh, I paid this credit card off, or I would do that, or I would do that, then it's like, okay, well then
They're highly
you
motivated.
need to build a business.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Okay, any other thoughts? Joyce, let's see, I have a few chats down here. Let me see if these are new. Missy says, I like the one asking them if they've thought about a friend that would enjoy a product. Awesome. Okay. The best job, Joy says, that question. Okay. So now one of the things, sometimes it's kind of hard to read their body language. Some people are just very good about being engaged and they're going to listen to you and da da da. And then, you go, so you want to sign up? And they go, no. And you're like, what? And they just seem like really into it. And the other people are kind of quiet and they're sitting back and, do you want to sign up? Yeah. And you're like, what? Okay, so sometimes people's body language isn't completely true to what you would define as excited and what you would define as laid back. And that can get us in trouble just a little bit. So I have this kind of fun question that I ask people. So tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about moving forward and taking on this opportunity? If they say under 7, 10, yeah, we all want 10s. When you ask that, when you have 8, 9, 10, then you know to just move forward with the close, okay? If they're under that, you may need to ask them a few more questions, share with them a few more perks of the company. They may not see all the value, or it just may not be for them, okay? So when they've told you 7, 8, 9, 10, and they're pretty excited, probably 8, 9, 10, then we want to go in for what's called an optional close, all right? An optional close is when what you do is you can say, would you like to start on this date or this date? Would you like this kit or this kit? Would you like to do an online show or in-person show? It's a yes, yes option versus do you want to do it? So let me tell you what optional close does for you, okay? What it can do is you go from, I had somebody doing this, or I knew some people that did this with senior housing, and the person that at the end of the interview with all the same questions, one person said, so do you want to come see it? The other person said, would you like to come and see it on Monday or Tuesday? The person that said, would you like to come on Monday or Tuesday? They booked over 80. The one who said, would you like to come and see it, booked under 10. Okay? That's the difference in an optional close. All right? And so you always want to practice that optional close because a lot really good things happen that way. Okay? All right. And that is pretty much how the interview works. Who feels more confident about going out and doing recruiting now than they did before the class started? Are you excited about what you can have happen? So, Hannah, it's still scary? Amy, you feel more confident?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, awesome. Well, what I'd like to tell you just a little bit about, and Joyce says yes, Misty says yes. Okay, just so you know, just a couple quick things. Some of you are already working with me. Some of you are thinking about working with me. And some of you we've talked, but I've added a couple new classes that maybe some of you don't know about. So we definitely are starting another 90-day challenge next week. That's on Thursday at either 11 a.m. or 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's going to do your goal setting, your habit forming, all those really awesome tools, your sales in a group. We talk a little bit about recruiting. We talk about overcoming fears. Elizabeth, what have you got out of the 90-day sales challenge? You're one of my graduates of that program. What's been the best part about it? Sorry.
There, don't touch. I have increased my show schedule drastically and not had to make as many phone calls. I'm better at closing the deal and getting them to book shows faster and making less contacts. So that's nice.
Very cool. Awesome. Okay, so that one is like all-encompassing. If you have a lot of areas of your business going and you just need to tweak all of them, you've done some recruiting, you do sales, you just like to get more consistent, that's a great one for you. Now, we have some new ones that are called master classes, and this is a nice happy medium. What you do is it's going to take one skill. We're going to take 30 days, and we're going to help you get really good at it, and by the end of it, you are going to have some success. It's not you learn about it, then you go do it. You're going to be doing it as you learn it, okay? The first one is about building your customer list. If you feel like you've gone through your warm market and you're having a hard time getting to know some new people, that's a great one to build that customer list up and find a variety of places to meet people. We'll talk about meeting people in person, talk about meeting people online, talk about booths, we'll talk about all sorts of stuff where you can build your customer list. And I was able to move to a new town where I knew nobody and book 8 parties in 30 days. So in my first 30 days there. So it's something that I love to do, and it's kind of my forte. The next one is going to be about sales. We're going to teach you how to increase your sales one-on-one in your classes, follow-up, upselling. We're going to take your sales to the next level. When I learned how to ask these questions really well, I doubled my sales in just a couple of months and was able to earn a trip in half the time allotted. If you've ever earned a trip or know about that, to earn it in half the time, let alone the whole time, is pretty exciting. The last one is recruiting. Now, if you haven't taken any sales classes from me, you want to do that first before the recruiting because you want to know how to support your recruits, okay? But that's another one that we're offering. So what I love to do is just chat with you and, you know, get to know you a little bit better and find out what would be a good fit for you, okay? And so I know, Joyce, you've been thinking about the next class coming up. And I know that, Misty, you've been thinking about some stuff. Would either of you, and I know Hannah, we're already talking, Michelle, we're already talking, Amy, Sue, would either 3 of you, Sue, Misty, or Joyce, would you like to have a quick chat tomorrow about the options that we have coming up? Misty, yes, me. Okay, Misty, could you just put your phone number down at the bottom for me, hun? All right, awesome. And Joyce, okay. Joyce, are you coming on Saturday? I'll just send you a quick message. No, okay. I'll just send you some information about these, but you're welcome to jump on anytime you want. Okay, hun? All right. And Sue, did you want to chat at all? Sure? Okay. All right. And you probably signed up for the class, or you signed up for a couple classes, so I probably have... No, you didn't? Okay, hang on just one second.
I did.
You, yes? No.
I have.
You have. Okay.